One quiet afternoon in the sacred grove of Jetavana, the Buddha sat surrounded by his disciples, teaching them the path to enlightenment. The day's lessons had been on the nature of suffering and the way to overcome it, but one young monk, Ananda, had a question that weighed on his mind. He approached the Buddha, bowed deeply, and asked, "Master, I have heard many stories about how this earth was created. Some say a powerful God formed it, while others speak of a great cosmic event. Who truly created this earth and everything in it?" The Buddha looked at Ananda with kindness. He could sense the monk's sincere desire to understand, not just for himself, but for others who shared similar questions. The other disciples also leaned in, eager to hear their master's response. "Ananda," the Buddha began, "the question of who created the earth has been asked by many, and it has led to endless debates and confusion. However, to understand this question, one must first understand the nature of the world itself, not merely its origins." The Buddha gestured to the ground beneath them. "This earth, these trees, the rivers, the mountains, do you believe they have always been here, unchanged?" "No, Master," Ananda replied. "Everything changes over time. Even mountains crumble and rivers shift their course." The Buddha nodded. "Indeed, all things are subject to change. What we call the earth today was once very different, and in the future it will change again. This is the law of impermanence. Everything arises, exists, and eventually fades away." "But Master," Ananda asked, "if everything changes, what causes the earth and all life to come into being? Surely there must be a creator who brought it all into existence." The Buddha smiled softly. "Ananda, this earth and all life on it arise not through the will of a single being or a divine creator, but through a vast web of conditions. Just as a tree grows from a seed, which requires water, sunlight, and soil, so too did this earth come into being through countless interconnected causes. There is no single creator, but rather an infinite chain of conditions that gave rise to what we see today." The disciples listened closely as the Buddha continued. "Consider this. If you ask, who made the tree, you might say it came from a seed. But where did the seed come from? It came from another tree, and that tree came from another seed. The same is true for the earth. It is the result of causes going back endlessly, beyond our understanding. It is not created by a single force or being, but through the natural law of dependent origination. Everything exists because of a combination of causes and conditions." Ananda's brows furrowed slightly, still searching for clarity. "Master, if there is no single creator, then what should we believe about the origin of the earth and life itself?" The Buddha responded with compassion. "Ananda, it is not useful to fixate on finding the first cause or a creator. Instead, focus on understanding the present moment. The world is a result of causes, and we are all a part of this process. Just as we are shaped by the world, we also shape it through our actions, our thoughts, words, and deeds. This is the real force that creates and sustains the world." At this, another disciple spoke up. "Master, if everything is the result of causes, what role do we play in this creation?" The Buddha gazed at him thoughtfully. "Our role is immense. Just as the earth arose from countless causes, so too do our lives and the lives of others. Our actions, or karma, create the conditions for the world around us. If we act with kindness, compassion, and wisdom, we contribute to a world of peace and harmony. If we act with greed, hatred, and ignorance, we create suffering, not just for ourselves, but for all living beings." Ananda then asked, "Master, if there is no creator, does that mean the earth and life have no deeper meaning?" The Buddha's voice was calm as he answered, "The meaning of life does not come from its creation, but from how we live it. The earth provides us with everything we need to live, and our duty is to live mindfully, with compassion for all beings." Searching for a single creator distracts us from the truth, that we are all interconnected and our actions shape the world just as much as any other force. The earth is not a random creation nor the product of one divine being, the Buddha continued. It is the manifestation of countless conditions coming together. Just as you cannot point to a single cause for a plant's growth, you cannot point to a single cause for the creation of the earth. What is important is not who created it, but how we live on it and how we contribute to the cycle of life. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the grove, the disciples sat in silent reflection. The Buddha had not given them a simple answer, but he had offered something deeper. An understanding that the earth and life itself are part of an interconnected web of causes and effects. Rather than focusing on a creator, they now saw their own role in shaping the world through their actions. The Buddha concluded, "Do not seek the beginning, Ananda, for that is a path that leads nowhere. Instead, focus on the present, for it is in this moment that you have the power to create peace and happiness for yourself and others." With that, the Buddha rose and walked quietly into the forest, leaving his disciples to contemplate the profound lesson he had shared. They no longer searched for a creator, but turned inward, knowing that the power to create a meaningful life lay within their own hearts and minds.